everyone! Welcome to the Jayda InStitches show. Mr. InStitches and I have about had it with winter, so we're trying to think spring. And in addition to thoughts of flowers and sunshine and being able to step out the front door without putting on 25 pounds of clothing, I'm also thinking about tidying up and organizing. Spring cleaning, if you will. I find one of the parts of my life that takes the biggest beating over the winter is my bag. When I was in school, it was my backpack. Now it's my purse and my travel crochet bag. Basically, whatever bag of stuff I'm hauling around with me every day, it's this disorganized, chaotic disaster. So, Mr. InStitches and I thought we would bring you a little series of simple to make projects that will help you organize and protect all the things that you pull around with you every day. The first thing we're going to make is this cute little travel tissue case. This is a quick project. It is a scrap project. There is no sewing, there are no closures, and it's one of those little things that you might never have thought of, but now are going to wonder how you ever lived without. I think I'm going to be making these for everybody I know who hauls around a bag. This will fit 10 tissues. So whether you buy the travel tissues, which are sort of already folded into a neat and tidy little rectangle, or you just take the tissues out of the Kleenex box that you've got sitting around your house, have them laid flat, fold it in half again, so you've quartered it. This will fit 10 of them. Then you can just pull one out when you need it, you can refill it when you need to, and it's easy to grab inside your bag. That's another problem I have with my bags, is like I go to grab something and I'm just shuffling around in there and everything feels the same, so this is going to feel a lot more recognizable when I go digging in my bag for a tissue. We're going to use cotton yarn for this project, so let's grab our hooks, grab our yarn, we'll head on over to the craft table, and we will stitch up a cute, super useful little travel tissue case together. In order to make our little travel tissue cover, you want around 20 grams or 40 yards of a size 4 medium weight yarn. I'm using cotton for this project. You also want a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and the hook we're using is a 5.5 millimeter, also known as an I or a 9 in the US, a size 5 in the UK. And once you've got all that together, we can get started. If you really enjoy our show and you have a lot of fun with us here, then consider supporting us. You can subscribe, click the like button, share our videos with your friends, or you can purchase a pattern at our Etsy shop, or join and become a channel member. You'll find more information in the description box down below, links to our Etsy shop, and also how to join, and there's more information if you click that join button below this browser. We're going to begin with a slip knot. And we're going to chain 19 to begin. Once you have 19, we're going to be using the half double crochet stitch. So we're going to skip the first chain from the hook, find the second chain and half double crochet into it. And we're going to half double crochet into each chain all the way across. So at the end of row 1, you'll have 18 stitches. At the end of row 1, you should have 18 stitches. You want to chain 1 and turn at the end of every row. The chain 1 doesn't count as anything, it's just a turning chain, so you're going to work into the first stitch, or if you're looking at it top down, the second stitch, the second chain away from the hook. So skip your turning chain, half double crochet into the first stitch, and half double crochet into each stitch across. You'll still have 18 stitches at the end of row 2, and at the end of this row, you'll chain 1 and turn. You're going to chain 1 and turn at the end of every row, half double crochet in each stitch all the way across, and you're going to work this simple little pattern back and forth for a total of 17 rows. Remember, when you get to the end of each row, that last stitch you need to work into can sometimes be pulled down the side a little bit, so don't miss it. You want to make sure you have 18 stitches in each row. And that's what it looks like at the end of 17 rows. You should have a little bit of a rectangle showing here. Your piece of fabric or your rectangle should be about 15, almost 15 centimeters or almost 6 inches wide by approximately 17 centimeters or about 6 3/4 inches tall. So that's how big your piece of material should be. And now we're going to do a little folding. So don't fasten off. You can pull up on your loop a little bit just to get your hook out of the way. We want to find the 5th row from the bottom. So that's the 5th row from the bottom. Count up 5 rows. You should have a little ridge here. That's the ridge of row 6. You're going to take the top edge and fold it down so that it's in alignment with the top of row 5. So it looks like that. Then you're going to take the bottom and flip it over top of the first half. So there's a little bit of overlap. It doesn't completely come to the very edge. You can take your crochet hook and put it back in that loop, tighten it up. And if you feel you need to, you can pin this whole thing into place or put some clips on it. But all we're going to do now is just slip stitch up the edge. So you can chain 1 if you didn't already. And you're just going to poke your hook through all 3 layers of crochet. So that first stitch doesn't have to be very neat and tidy, but make sure you're going through all 3 layers of crochet and just slip stitch. So there's 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers. It's a little easier to see now. Now you're just going to slip stitch through all 3 layers. So all 3 layers, you make sure you've got all 3 there. Just grab your yarn and slip stitch. You're going to do this all the way to the very edge. So make sure you've got all 3 layers. Grab your yarn and slip stitch. You're working about an inch, or I should say a stitch in from the edge. There we go. Make sure you have all 3 layers and that it hasn't moved too much. And slip stitch. And then the last slip stitch will probably just be through the sort of the fold at the end. There we go. And you should have something that looks like this. So you've got a little bit of sort of yarn running across the bottom and some surface chains running across the top. This is going to be the inside of your little pocket, so it doesn't really matter. It can be as messy as it needs to be. You can snip your yarn now, fasten off, and take a moment to weave in both of those ends. So your little one and your long one. Alright, so that's one edge all seamed up, nice and neat and tidy. I've woven in both my ends. Remember, this is the inside, so it doesn't have to look super fancy. And there's sort of an example of the fold right there. Now we want to do the other side, so you want to make sure that you've got your fold nice and neat and tidy in alignment. Grab your yarn. We're going to start with a slip knot. And it doesn't matter what side you start on. I'm going to start on the thickest side. Just slip your hook right through the edge, right through all 3 of those pieces, and make sure you get the working tail. You're going to join with a slip stitch, and now we're just going to do the same thing down this side. So just make sure you're going through all 3 layers. Just jam your hook through there. If you have to separate it to make sure you've got all 3, go ahead. There we go. And again. And you're going to do this same thing all the way down this edge, and your last couple stitches are going to be, you want to just sort of like pull that tail or that edge so that your last stitch is just through that fold, and most of this flap is sewn down. It's okay if it comes up a little bit in the middle because it's going to want to do that naturally anyway. Just slip stitch all the way down. Try to keep those stitches nice and tight. Doesn't matter how many you do, because all we're doing is a seam. It's a little firmer than sewing, and of course it's not sewing, it's crochet. Okay, so once you've got a nice tight little seam there, same thing, fasten off, and you can take a moment to weave in both of those ends. And you should have something that looks like this now. Once you've woven in those ends, you can flip your little pocket right side out. So one little thing is going to fold in, the other one's going to sit on top. You can just push out those little corners so you have a nice even little rectangle. And there you go. There is your little pocket. There's no need for a button closure. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of Velcro in here. That's just to really make sure it doesn't open. But this fold over is basically allowing for an easy access. So you can take some of your tissues. If you've got travel tissues, they'll probably already come folded like this. Or you can take the tissues that come out of a big sort of rectangular box, fold them in half, and then fold that in half again, and you'll get like this nice little rectangle shape. And then you can just tuck a few into your little pocket. There we go. And you can pop it into your bag, your backpack, your purse, whatever. Wherever you think you might need, maybe even the car, wherever you might need some quick tissues that you can grab, and it's easy to just sort of pull one out and keep going. And there's a very simple little travel tissue case. Pretty handy, pretty quick. I love this little thing. It's definitely going to be in my purse, and I'm probably going to make one for each of my bags, including my travel crochet kit, just so I can reach in and grab a tissue if I need it. We're kind of still in the middle of flu season, and then it's allergy season, and then it's just bawling at a sad movie season, so I always need a tissue in my bag. We also want to thank all of our family members for helping us choose which project we were going to make this week by taking part in our little What Shall We Stitch Up Together poll. And if you're curious about becoming a channel member, you can click the join button down below and read all about it. That's it for this week, everyone. We hope you enjoyed making this little project along with us, and we will see you soon here on the Jayda InStitches show. Until then, stay safe, stay crafty, and have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.
Hi, everyone. This is Mama InStitches. Thank you for watching. Here are a few other videos you might enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can also click the like button and the bell. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.